Hey everyone, and welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're taking a super dense, let's be honest, kind of boring grammar rulebook and totally transforming it into a highly engaging survival guide. Whether you're gearing up for a big competitive exam like the GMAT or SAT, or honestly, if you just want to crush your daily professional writing without that constant second-guessing, well, this explainer is absolutely for you. We're going to break down subject-verb agreement, which some folks call subject-verb concord, so you literally never make a mismatch mistake again.
Okay, so here's our roadmap for the day. We'll be covering 1. The golden rule. 2. The jumping S. 3. Navigating noun traps. 4. Pronouns and proximity. 5. Money and math. And finally, number 6, those tricky final grammar traps. Let's dive right in.
Section 1. The golden grammar rule. We gotta start with our foundational anchor. The core logic here is brilliantly simple. Match singulars with singulars and plurals with plurals. Think about it. One book, the book was interesting. Multiple books, the books were interesting. It sounds so incredibly easy, right? But identifying what actually counts as singular or plural, well, that gets surprisingly tricky.
Moving on to Section 2, the jumping S rule.
So think of the letter S like a little bouncing ball jumping back and forth. With common nouns like book or car, adding an S makes them plural. But with verbs like go or read, adding an S actually makes them singular. The S jumps. Either the noun has it or the verb has it, but they practically never both have it at the exact same time.
You can literally hear this rule in action. Try saying, "The girls sings." It feels heavy, doesn't it? Super clunky. The S just can't stay with both the noun and the verb. Dropping one S to make it "the girl sings" or "the girls sing" fixes the balance instantly. It's just like a seesaw.
Section 3. Navigating tricky noun traps.
Now, think about the phrase idli and sambar. Tell me quickly, what does your instinct say? When two nouns are joined by the word and, we usually just assume they become plural, like apples and oranges are fruits. But listen closely to this combo. Are we dealing with a singular or plural verb here when we're talking about this amazing meal?
Well, it turns out is the correct answer. Even though idli and sambar are technically two distinct nouns, together they represent a single entity. It's one unified breakfast dish. Because the focus is heavily on this idea of oneness, the whole phrase acts as a singular subject. You see the exact same thing with phrases like law and order is deteriorating or bread and butter is a common breakfast. Now notice how adding one tiny little word, the, suddenly changes reality. In the phrase, the coach and captain, we're talking about just one highly skilled person doing two jobs, so they get a singular has. But the absolute second we add that second the to make it the coach and the captain, boom. We split that single entity into two completely different people. Plural subject, plural verb, have arrived. Categorizing nouns clears up so much confusion here. Notice how uncountable nouns, things you really can't count individually, like sugar, luggage, or even fields of study like mathematics, always take a singular verb, even if they end in an S. Conversely, things that only exist in plural form, like earnings or goods, absolutely demand a plural verb.
But wait, there's a huge trap here with plural items. Words like trousers, scissors, or goggles have two parts, so naturally they're plural. The gray trousers are looking good. But check this out. Just by introducing the concept of a pair, those plural items instantly morph into a singular grammar unit. You're now talking about one single pair, so it becomes a pair of gray trousers is looking good, a total game changer.
Section 4. Pronouns and the proximity rule.
Okay, this rule makes a very complex problem so simple. When you're using neither /nor or either /or with a mix of singular and plural nouns, don't panic over whether the whole sentence is singular or plural overall. Just apply the rule of proximity. You literally just look at the word physically right next to the verb.
It's basically a geographical grammar rule. If we say neither the bag nor the shoes, the word shoes is physically closest to the verb. Since shoes is plural, we use the plural match. But if we flip it around, bag becomes closest. Because bag is singular, it dictates the singular matches. Just match the nearest noun. How easy is that?
Section 5. Money, time, and math. This all comes down to how we mentally group numbers. Even though 500 rupees or 50 kilometers sounds like a massive plural amount,
Grammar actually treats these measurements as one singular block. You aren't thinking of 500 individual coins, right? You're picturing one lump sum of money. Therefore, periods of time, distances, and sums of money almost always take a singular verb. Now you really got to watch out for the epic battle between a number and the number. The phrase a number of is essentially just a fancy synonym for many. And many is plural, so we say a number of students are attending. But the exact phrase the number of refers to one specific singular data point on a chart. So even though it describes plural crimes, the data point itself is singular, making it the number of crimes is increasing.
Section 6. The final grammar traps.
We've reached the boss level, folks. Listen closely to how the script completely flips here. Normally, the phrase one of the zeroes in on a single person from a larger group, right? So one of the students is giving a presentation, makes perfect sense. But consider this. One of the dogs that have been adopted needs care. The moment we insert a relative pronoun like that or who into the middle of the sentence, the rules completely change. Suddenly, we have a plural verb, have. Why on earth does this happen? Think of this exactly like the BODMAS rule in math, where you solve equations inside brackets first. The relative pronoun, like that or who, acts as a link between the plural noun and the plural verb, trapping them together inside a hidden bracket. There are many dogs that have been adopted, but only one of the dogs needs care. The relative pronoun forces the verb right next to it to match the plural noun right before it. Mind blown, right?
There is one last quirky reality check before we wrap up. When an action, an ing word like growing or swimming, acts as the subject, it's called a gerund, and it is always singular. Growing flowers is a tough job. But what about wishes? Well, wishes defy reality entirely. When expressing a hypothetical wish, English grammar forces the plural were, even if it's just you wishing for yourself. I wish I were a queen. Never, ever was.
And that brings us to the end. From the bouncing ball of the jumping S to bracketing your sentences like a BODMAS equation, you now have the tools to decode pretty much any sentence thrown your way. So the next time you catch yourself second-guessing a verb, ask yourself, is English just trying to trick you, or do you just need to zoom in and find those hidden brackets? Stay curious, trust your new instincts, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.